Oh, nice.
Hi, I'm Terry Murphy.
And I'm Rita Cook, and we're going to talk about witches again.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like Terry's starting to understand what it means when he hangs out with me, because I just know things. Like yesterday, I knew that man's birthday. And it's weird because if you think about it for a second, then you're not going to get it right. It has to be coming from your innateness, and then you just know, and then you just say it. And that's not always being a witch necessarily. But I was like, last night I went to bed, and I woke up this morning, and I had a couple of dreams. I told you one of them, which has nothing to do with our show. And then I was thinking, we need to do a part 2 to explain a little bit more, because like a lot of people think of witches. What do you think of when you think of a witch?
Oh, let's see now. I think of a cape, a hat, a broom.
What kind of hat? The little tip hat?
Pointy one.
Okay.
That's what I think.
So when I told you I was a witch, were you looking for my broom, or I guess I brought one with me? Yeah. So that's what most people think, and it's funny because I don't know. I do know where those symbols came from, but I'm not recalling that information right now. But I've studied it. But a lot of people think that in order to be a witch, they have to like be goth or have tattoos all over their body or whatever. And most people are really surprised. I've actually had people tell me that I'm not, and I don't know myself. They've been that horrified and really just crazy. And so I just want everybody to know that true people that are practicing magic, prayer, whatever it may be, we don't wear that stuff. Like, we don't need to, because when you get to a certain point, you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. You're trying to grow your soul and move the energy. Does that make sense?
Sure.
But I think also, too, I wanted to just mention that I had written down some things about stones and incense, and then that is stuff. I mean, I'm burning incense in my little part of the house all the time, right?
Yes.
And it's like, your dog likes to come down there and hang out in my room. She likes both of your dogs. Well, Sarah probably would if she...
I'm not real fond of incense.
Well, why? You've never even told me that before.
Reminds me of a
past life?
A head chop or something.
Oh, God. No, you're saying what somebody said yesterday, and you're just parroting it.
No,
we're not going there, babe. Okay. And there... There's a book called The Flying Witches of Veracruz, and it's an interesting book because in Mexico, Veracruz is a state, and they have some hardcore stuff going on there with brujas, and so those people like put the ointment on you. There is like, I don't know, I just want people to know that being strong and having an inner part of you could be a witch, could be a light worker, could be you might not even define it, could be a shaman, could be anything, and it's really about your own relationship with yourself. Because if you, so yes, there are, these women that you can go to and say, I want you to do a spell for me to make my husband love me again. And I don't know if that works or not.
I've never done that. But is this what I can put a spell on you?
Yeah.
Which I have at the right end?
No, you didn't.
Is that it right there? Is this from Harry Potter or something?
No, this is, okay, so this is what you would be called a wand. And I bought this, I think, in France or England or somewhere, but it's, it's copper, and we know, yes, like, even non-witchy people know, yes, yeah, like you were talking earlier, what about bracelets or something?
I don't know, yeah, the bracelets, they make those, and then copper stuff for, the clothing has copper in it, supposedly good for you. I think it's a gimmick, personally. No,
copper really is good for you. It's a metal, and that means that there's things, like, the earth will give you everything you need. This is a crystal, this is garnet, this is a crystal. This is a very, very powerful crystal because it's pointed and it's big, and like it's like your life will change sometimes, but you don't really know your life changed because you just notice that it's different and it's good, but you don't credit it to maybe some of the things that you're doing to make it better. Like our next show, we're going to talk about frequencies, and that's really important. But I think also I just wrote down some things. I will just say one thing that's really funny, and it was just 444 when I just look. Every time I look over at the top, the stopwatch, it's some number that. But my mother used to always tell me, like, you're not a witch, witches don't exist, and she was very Christian, and I would be like, well, then why does the Bible say that witches are a sin? So then she's like dumbfounded by, what am I going to say to that, because the Bible wouldn't be saying something that didn't really exist is a sin. Well, it's just bad. So I always thought that was kind of like...
I never read that in there.
I think they probably call them Well, first of all, the Bible is translated from another, from another language.
Yeah.
So you can't, I think that they called Mary Magdalene a whore or whatever, but I think that what that translated to in the original version of what the language was that the Bible was originally written in was a woman, it was like something else. It wasn't that. The Virgin Mary who had Jesus, virgin was a different definition.
Supposedly
too.
She wasn't much.
But it was a different definition. And I even read yesterday that she had been married before she was with Joseph. I mean, what do we know about Joseph?
Did she get a divorce?
All this stuff happened. It's history, but for some reason the Bible just included certain things. And even the wise men that came to see Jesus when he was born were magi, and that's a type of magic.
Right.
And nobody points that out.
Let's talk about your kitty cat.
Well, these are always going to be on the table. So,
always.
Are you just worried about needing to change this discussion?
What's up with the kitty cat?
Well, this is a little kitty cat who is doing meditation.
What's he got on his head?
Well, I think it's just a string. It probably doesn't even... Oh, I know what it was. It was his necklace.
It looks like some hair. Maybe it's like a spell you're doing or something.
No, no.
Hair of some dog? Hair of the dog?
No, this is that rope what is this rope called? It's a certain kind of rope.
Twine?
Well, I think it's a little bit heavier than twine, but it's what we used when we were kids. It never worked. If you were trying to tie something up, this was a mess.
It never stayed tied. It just felt, it was like hair.
Right. Okay, so I just wanted to let everybody know that about, witchcraft. Meditation's important. You can't just wake up one day and say, I want to do this. It's a lifelong journey, okay? I was a child, and just now at my age, I think I may actually know 1% of what there is to know because of the feeling inside.
I think more than 1%.
And what I know of the feeling inside, and you are a little bit psychic yourself. You know things. You like to deny it, but sometimes people are in denial because they're afraid, and, that might be your story. I don't know. But anyway, you guys, if you have any questions, I do tarot cards as well, and
we still have time left. You want to talk about tarot cards?
Yeah, but
Or you want to get out of here?
I do tarot cards. Have I ever done cards for you?
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah, you said I was incredibly handsome and talented and the smartest person you know.
Okay, well, okay. I guess that we'll see.
Cards were right.
The card, the tarot cards, it's they're a story. They're a story that you learn, but you have to learn. I still haven't learned to read them as good as you could because now I just use my innateness. But tarot cards are just a tool to open up your third eye, which is really where your psychic abilities come from. And every human being has a third eye, and every human being has the ability to be psychic. So that doesn't mean that you're a witch or whatever. Every human being, I think in the past, we've gotten away from our pineal gland. And so that's why they've shut it down. And plus, what is that thing? And fluoride blocks the pineal.
Well, that's something we need to talk about on another show because we talk about DMT.
Yeah. Let's write that down so we don't forget.
Yep.
Anyway, okay, so I'm Rita Cook.
Terry Murphy.
And woo! Let's say that we are in Lives of Truth today. What do we want people to do for us?
Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave comments.
Yes, and that is a command. Bye. Thanks for watching.